host, Josh. And tonight's episode is brought to you by Great Lakes Discs. Whether you're looking for cool new gear or your new favorite disc, Great Lakes Discs has what you need. Click the Linktree link and you will see the Great Lakes Disc link. Click that and start your shopping today. While you're on the link tree, you'll also see a link for Idio Sports. If you want to take your game to the next level, make sure you get Idio shoes on your feet. The only shoes made by disc golfers for disc golfers. Also use my discount code disc.seeker to save money on your next order. Without further ado, I'll let my guest fully introduce himself, where he's from, and where his disc golf journey actually begins.
Well, I'm Ryan Mantucca, or for those of you who may know me from socials, Tuca DG. Uh, I live in the suburbs of Illinois, just outside of Chicago, about 45 minutes to an hour away. Uh, disc golf for me, it kind of just started on a random day at work, chopping it up with one of my coworkers and actually talking about baseball. And the conversation steered from that straight into, have you ever tried disc golf? And no, man, never. So the very next day, went and played for the first time, and since then, I think I've played at least 3 times a week since the first time picking up a disc. So yeah, it's quickly become one of my biggest hobbies, and kind of overtaking the house a little bit too as we go. The
That's
inventory is
not
kind of
bad.
stacking up.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing at all.
I mean, if you ask the wife, it might be, but other than that, I think it's great.
Yeah. So do you remember like how your first round went and where did you end up playing?
Yeah, the first round definitely wasn't great skill wise, talent wise, but that's kind of to be assumed. Um, but I think I know for a fact we went to my current home course, Eagle Ridge in Oswego. Shout out to the Fox Valley Metro League. Um, we went there super early in the morning. We both worked second shift, so we went at like 8 or 9 in the morning and tried to get a quick round in before going in for the day. And I think it was hole 12. It's a downhill little kind of like flick forehand. And now currently I'm throwing like a standstill, like just a standstill MD5 at it. And at the time I was throwing a full 12 speed destroyer because that's the only disc that I had from him. And I somehow, some way, got it to get all the way down there. I hit a tree and dropped straight down. I was about 2 feet from the basket, and since that shot, I think that's what got me hooked because I was like, "Oh, okay, so throw a forehand. That's all you have to do." So yeah, throwing the backhands was not for me
Yeah.
at the time.
I was the same way. Forehand all day.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have a baseball background, which I think kind of plays into that a little bit.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask if you played baseball prior to this.
Yeah, for what, about 27 years.
Oh wow.
uh, Pitcher for about 23 or 24 of them. So I take that strongly into account and give it all the credit to my forehand to my baseball background for sure.
Yeah. What's the highest level you made in baseball? Did you like get close to semi-professional or just
No, no, definitely not. As much as I aspired to be, no. I played a little bit in high school. Ended up, you know, when going to college, I didn't need to try out, like even try out for the team. Kind of just did I only went to college for a year, came back home, helped out around the house, and then was blessed with a child. So that kind of changed my course of life and everything like that. But no, I played in just local men's leagues forever, like after school up until what, 2023, I think was the last year I played. Now I kind of just dabble with it a little bit here and there. I jump into kind of fill in when I can. I haven't been able to get out yet this year, but I do plan on it before the season ends. I hope to get a game or two in. Um, but yeah, it's just high school, I guess, would be my highest like, yeah, highest like level that I really strived at. But
yeah. So since you were a pitcher, what was the challenge like going from like a pitch with a ball to forehanding a disc? Because I brought out a couple guys a few weeks in a row, where they played baseball prior, and it's taken them a little bit how to forehand a disc, and I don't know how to explain to them to kind of throw somewhat like a ball, but not exactly like a ball. So, what
Yeah.
was that like for
Uh,
you?
well, so first of all, I will say throwing Beefy Destroyer as my first disc to forehand was definitely a big help because it's overstable enough that it helped me out. But that was actually my big thing is I was throwing chop forehands. So anything with a lot of overstability was what I was going to be bagging, like Firebirds, Destroyers, or Fireball from Axiom was actually my first ace disc. I was using zone OSs for upshots instead of just a standard zone because I wanted that extra dump. So I really relied on that chop Annie, and it wasn't up until actually a little bit earlier this year where I started really kind of figuring out even more. It's more so in the angle of your the way that you're angling at the waist. If you're bending over enough, you could throw it almost like a 3/4 sidearm pitcher, and that's kind of how I threw my entire time pitching. So it's just making sure that I get that enough bend at the waist in order for me to get down low enough, and I don't have to worry about overturning or chopping on it or anything because I'm just matching the plane. Uh, but yeah, so I think the biggest challenge, sorry, was trying to get over that, trying to come from the side instead of trying to go down with it. So a lot of times people think pitching is the best way to think about it, but I would actually think about playing third base, charging like a ground ball, and kind of that motion is what you're going to go because you're kind of releasing upward instead of releasing, you know, uh,
Yeah,
flatter and over the top.
yeah. So, as you were transitioning from like baseball into disc golf, how much time did you spend at looking at your own form and breaking it down and comparing it to like some of the forms that you
Excuse
see
me.
online?
Um, Comparing it to forms online, not very much, because first and foremost, I was more so just trying to get the basic mechanics of everything. Because I was, for the longest time, forcing backhand after backhand after backhand just to try to figure it out. But I didn't really try to compare to, say like people like Gannon Burr or Anthony Barella or even like Paul Macbeths of the world, stuff like that, just because I know that they're, upper echelon. They're kind of like the untouchables. I'm just trying to get more than 200 feet on, and not dump out straight to the left as soon as I release it. So, but I definitely did do a lot of the you know watch these mechanics videos. Like this is you want to try to get this as your pull through and showing you how to do the X step and stuff like that, the basics. Um, but a lot of it was just in a field. I don't know, 2 3 days or 2 3 hours a day sometimes, and just repetitions, just kept constantly throwing and throwing and throwing, and eventually it just kind of clicked. You figured it out, and I was like, hey, so I guess this thing's not as hard as it looks, but it's definitely one of the toughest things I've done.
Yeah. So, since you've done like baseball, and obviously like baseball comes with weight training and stretching and everything. So, how much of that has transitioned into your disc golf, where you just naturally decide, okay, I know I need to lift this way, stretch this way, and practice this way.
Um, so I'm probably going to be the worst example of what you're talking about here. I think once I got out of high school, I don't think I've stretched before a baseball game since I was about 19. Um, I'm the kind of guy that, yeah, like, yeah, I'm going to go and I'm going to putt on the putting green for a little bit. I might throw a couple warm up shots at hole one before starting leagues, but I'm like the roll out of bed and show up and say, all right, I'm ready. Let's go. I don't usually stretch. The most you'll get is the free stretch on the right before the tee box type deal. Um, with Even with baseball though, I was the same thing. It was more so just give a little one of these and then throw with a weighted ball and then play catch.
Yeah. So it seems like
So yeah, I'm probably not the best example.
yeah. So it seems like throwing has always just been natural for you.
uh, I was told that at a young age I kind of just this is gonna sound really weird to say, but I was really natural with the ball. Like I liked to bounce balls. I was throwing them and everything. It just seemed like that was what I was aspiring to do. um, Not that I'm
Yeah,
great at it,
it
but
makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah, it
it's
makes
just
sense.
something I guess. Sports kind of ran in the family. I was the youngest by 7 years, and my
Yeah,
brother and sister both were student athletes in high school or and going all through junior high and everything, grade school, and they were big names in the baseball and softball community of the local township that we played at and everything. So once I got old enough to play, it was kind of like, oh, that's little Tuca. That's yeah, he's one of us. He's good, you know. So I had a lot of people to kind of carry me along and show me the right way. So
yeah. So this is something that I've noticed. Like, there's no like actual coaching or anything for disc golf. Like when you were in baseball, you had like a throwing coach and this and that helped you and told you what you need to do. Where disc golf is just kind of like, here's a disc, figure it out. And it's just like what did you think about that? Like, was that kind of weird to you that there was like really nobody out there to basically tell you what you need to do?
uh, I mean, as much as I agree with that, I also, in a way, kind of disagree because my coaching along the way, other than like I mentioned earlier with the like slingshot disc golf and stuff like that on YouTube and all that, I had numerous people along the way giving me tons of advice, different tips, throwing form advice, and all sorts of deal. For example, shout out to Big Cat Ryan Stillson at Delwood Disc Golf in Lockport. I did a couple of training things with him. Sorry, there was a firework that went off and kind of got the dogs going a little bit. You want to come in? Yeah, you're gonna come in. Okay, you're good.
I
All
know
right.
how that is. My daughter doesn't like fireworks, and she goes ballistic when they go off. She starts screaming
Come
and
on.
crying. So
Yeah, that's the big one gets scared and the little one gets angry. So, but yeah, he I had a couple of training like sessions with him too. At that point, really kind of focusing more so on the first one was just really big on putting because, as everybody knows, that's as looks easy as it is. It's probably the hardest thing in the game. So uh, the second time it was I was getting ready to play up into a division that was well above my rating, but it was just about the only opening for the tournament. And I kind of just asked him, "Hey, can you give me that like mental aspect of the game? Can you show different ways around this layout, stuff like that?" And it definitely did help. And like I said, I had tons of other people along the way showing me if I'm, whether it be the locals at the course that are over here at my home course, or if it's just some of the other guys that have been on my card, and you see me, throw something, and I'm wondering what I did wrong, and they're like, "Hey, just I seen you do this. If you try." For example, leaning at the waist, you might be able to, adjust that shot shape. And it's just that's the way that I see coaching going through disc golf, which I think is probably one of the best ways or best aspects of that game.
yeah. So I heard you mention slingshot disc golf. What did you have you worked with Coach T, or and have you have has that unlocked anything for your backhand?
I haven't like personally like signed up for like the clinics or anything like that. I kind of just watched the videos on there.
Mhm.
But I definitely will say that it did help, uh, especially early on, just trying to see like the basic form of you know. And actually, what really helped was how much seeing that it compared to kind of like swinging a bat on your backhand. It's just the only difference
Yes.
is it's reversed. So obviously, being a right-handed hitter, I'm standing on the left side of the plate, so my left shoulder would be leading. But with the swing mechanic is almost eerily similar to, at least from the waist down, is eerily similar to how you want to be in the batter's box. You want to have all that or that momentum shift forward and kind of stop on a dime so that you get that coil motion to shoot through and you get all the power to go through your hands and get speed to the ball and hit the ball as far as you can.
Yeah. Yeah, for me is when he mentions athletic stance. Like I never viewed backhand as an athletic stance. Like I always thought, okay, I have to do this full like walk up, this, that, and that. And then like as soon as I had figured out athletic stance, I was like, I know that. Like I'm a runner. I know what my athletic stance is. So I literally started doing pre-turn. So now I do my backhand where I'm already turned sideways and like a stance where I would start my run. And then I could literally just fire a backhand pretty easily now. And all it took was just someone to explain, just get in an athletic stance. And then right there, it's like, oh, I know exactly what that is.
Yeah, yeah, I got you. That's kind of one of those things where you hear that keyword and it just like it unlocks that little part of your brain that is finally like, okay, that's what he's talking about. That's how you do that. So yeah, I've definitely had a couple of those moments myself. Another thing that helped me along the way too, I'll give a little shout out here. There's an app that I've been using, also kind of promoting up there on Instagram and on my socials, the disc golf form analyzer app. And this is not me in no way, shape, or form trying to name drop or anything and promote apps and all that jazz, but it definitely did help with seeing that where my issues were and actually getting out and practicing. And now I know what I'm practicing instead of just going out and aimlessly throwing 50 shots into a field and then still sitting there wondering, gosh, what am I doing wrong? I'm doing what I think I see in these videos. But so that's another thing that kind of helped me along the way. I just recently started using it and it actually has sincerely been helping. I actually was just talking to my wife about it earlier. I actually am now favoring throwing like a PD instead of a CD1, which I never would have figured that I'd be doing because PDs for me used to just be kind of dumpy, overstable beefcakes, even though it's clearly not that much of an overstable beefcake because I'm really, really handling them now. And it definitely feels great to just see like the progress from where it all started. I started throwing only in August of 2023, so this is going into my third full season, and seeing from where I was throwing like 150-foot, nose up dump shots to now I can, almost put one 400 feet and get us
Wow.
relatively accurately with the target and stuff like that. So it's definitely that's another thing too is just seeing that progress as you're growing, like especially with the social media content. When as I'm posting, you can see like where I was 2 years ago to where I am now, and just seeing how different everything is. It's a great thing.
Yeah, that's definitely huge, and it's also like huge, especially for like the culture that we're in of being compared. Like you're always comparing yourself to someone else, and it's like that kind of messes with everybody. And it's like really
Mhm.
cool to look at like the way that you look at, where you can look at yourself years ago and then see the achievements. That's huge.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite aspects of disc golf actually is the like as much as you have like your the teams with like Discraft and Innova and stuff like that. It's really cool to see how much of an individual sport it can be, as not as far as like selfishness, but as far as like kind of like what we were just saying. You get to watch your own growth, whereas on a baseball team or a basketball team or a football team, you're usually only as strong as your weakest link. So say if you don't have the strongest defense, now you have to have this juggernaut offense to counter that. Or for baseball, if you got a not so good pitching staff, the same thing, or not so good offense. Now you got to have a pitcher that goes out and throws complete game shutouts and hopefully can keep the other team off the scoreboard so that you don't have to worry about scoring 6 7 runs in a game. But with disc golf, it's even when you're playing on a card in a tournament and stuff like that, you get to just focus on you versus the course most of the time. That's the biggest battle that you have until final round, last 3 holes if you're in contention.
Yeah,
So that's one of my favorite parts about it.
yeah. And being a Bills Mafia member and fan, and so we know all about having Josh Allen and a terrible defense. So we know what that's like. Can't rely on Josh Allen for everything, unfortunately.
Hey, Green Bay doesn't have the greatest of defenses either in recent past. So when we had Aaron, it was kind of the same thing. You have to hope he puts up 45 for them to win.
Yeah. So at what point did you really notice like your game really starting to take off? And what was that key where it was like, "Oh my gosh, this unlocks so much."
Um, to be honest with you, I don't really think that I'm there yet. Uh,
Okay.
I think that, and I'm not trying to say like I have this super high ceiling or anything, but I think that like there's still that little bit of untapped potential that I may have. I still have the hitches and flaws within my form and mechanics that I'm still trying to work out. And based off of what people are telling me and what the videos and stuff like that are saying, there's distance there that I'm missing out on because of it. There's accuracy there that I'm missing out on because of it. So I feel like there's still, not to say there's another two, three tiers there, but I feel like there's still at least another tier that I could step up before actually saying I've cracked that code.
Yeah,
But I also can say that I did definitely see a bit of a change and a bit of a switch flipped last year. Actually, around this time, um, I had a couple of bad rounds coming out of June, and then was about to drop out of one of the tournaments just to kind of give myself a break. And the tournament director, or one of the tournament directors, shout out Sean Callahan from Delwood Disc Golf. He kind of was like, "Hey, man, I know you're requesting this refund and that you want to back out, but I, are you sure? Like, I don't think you should do this." And he kind of convinced me to stay in, and I think I ended up taking like tied third. I aced inside that tournament and everything, so it ended up being one of like the turning points, because then from that way then on, I was playing above my rating in almost every event. I ended up finally eclipsing that 900 rating, which was my target goal for last year. So that would probably be the turning point, and I have to actually really thank him for it because he convinced me to stay in.
that's really cool. So do you play more on the competitive side or do you see yourself playing more casually?
Uh, I'd say it's a pretty fair balance. I mean, I definitely get my fair share of casual rounds in, but at the same time, those are also fairly competitive with the group of guys that I play with. Um, we like to do this. We play casino golf.
Ooh,
Uh, for every birdie you get a card, and by the end of it, you take the best five cards in your hand. You get up to seven. After seven, you got to kind of pull and discard.
yeah,
But at the end of the round, you take your best five cards, and it's kind of like playing five card poker. If best hand wins. And so, well, everybody's out there trying to get birdies so you can pull those best cards, and we end up playing best score and best hand, and it's like a 50-50 split. If you end up splitting, then at least you get your money back. But it's just a good way to make things competitive. But I definitely do play my fair share of events. I try to get out there as often as possible, every flex, every tournament locally, if I'm able to. And if I don't have work scheduled, I'm usually there.
that's pretty cool. So when it comes to like a station tournament, what is your preparation like for it? Do you get out and do practice rounds, or do you just kind of roll up to it and just go for it?
I mean, practice rounds definitely happen, especially, well, for most of them, I should say, is like, unfortunately, like events like Ledgestone coming up. Last year was my first time going down there, and even though it is in Illinois, it is still about a 2.5 hour drive. So in order for me to do that, it would be like an all day Saturday trip, and with my current work schedule, that's not very easy to do. So I didn't practice any of those courses besides the flex starts that I played when I got down there. Um, but as far as like the local tournaments out here, I've played the local courses out here a ton of times. Every layout at the course, mix and matched layouts, and all sorts of things. But it still, when if I have a tournament at Highland, I'm gonna go play Highland that week leading up to that weekend at least once, so I could practice my layout. I definitely will do that, but other than that, there's not really much. Just like I said with the no stretching, there's not really much preparation. I try to keep it as free and easy as possible. If I feel like if I do too much on the practice rounds, and if I get out there two or three different times and I'm really trying to dial it in on this course, I might end up getting to a point in that third round where I'm like, all right, this is how it is. We got it locked in, and I'm gonna have these expectations and mindset and everything like that set of I have to do this now. I have to reach this goal, and I'm gonna put too much pressure on myself. So I try to keep it as relaxed as possible and just kind of
Yeah.
go with it.
Finally, someone who speaks my language. Like, because I have a thing where I call it, I play natural. So I don't want to go out and do practice round after practice round. Like a couple of my buddies, they'll go play like a course like 4 or 5 times leading up to it. It's like I'll play it once and then that's it. Like I just want to feel on the tee just natural. Like I'll look at my line. All right, that's what I'm doing, and that's it.
Yeah,
If I feel like, I'm not sure about you, but like you were saying, like if I end up playing it on repeat, then I'll step up to the tee and looking at the line, be like, okay, I hit it like this. Now I need to hit perfectly like that, which
exactly.
makes it even worse.
Yep. And actually, sometimes that's also the like I guess you'd say the kryptonite of playing like your home course for an event. I
Yes.
kick myself in the butt all day long when I play a flex start at Eagle Ridge because I can go out there anytime during the week with the guys or during tags and shoot a 5 or 6 down and be proud. And then I go there during a flex and I'm, hovering around even. I'm like, what what's going on? And it's because, like you said, that whole time you're thinking, hey, you come up here 3 times a week and you throw this line, you hit it, in this gap, you do it every time. So now you have these expectations, and of course, events, the sanction rounds always got to play different for some reason.
Yep.
So yeah, it's definitely one of those that gets in your head, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So you're going to Ledgestone this year, right?
Correct. Yeah,
Okay. So did you see Dez made it to Ledgestone? Dez and his
I
Desert
sure
Storm.
did.
Dude, that is so awesome.
Da, 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 da.
Da, 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 da. Yeah.
Hey, he's actually gonna room with me in my Airbnb. So yeah, we are. I'm stoked. It's
Yes.
gonna be sick. We're gonna be rooming in the Airbnb. We got a we made sure to sign up as pool buddies for the tournament. So we're both playing in the same division. So now hopefully if it works out the way it's supposed to, we'll be playing the same courses on the same day, and maybe even get carded up, which would be even sicker.
That would be so awesome. Like that's gonna be like the coolest R&B to be at. Like that's gonna be like awesome.
Oh yeah, we got a good group of guys. I got a couple of my friends from out here too that are come that actually they hosted the Airbnb. They actually started this vacation for us. So shout out to them as well. Thanks for that. But yeah, it's gonna be a grand old time. There's gonna be the four of us in there, and like I said, it's gonna be a blast. We're gonna try to get some flexes in. Obviously, probably try to cook out at least one of the nights, have a barbecue or something. But we'll do it upright.
Yeah. So what is in your bag this year? What are you throwing?
That's actually another thing that's a bit surprising to me, because compared to last year, I think I have one disc left in my bag from what I threw last year. Um, and as crazy as that may be, I also want to throw out there that you in no way, shape, or form have to be a single manufacturer thrower. And I know everybody knows that, but still doesn't mean that I didn't do that. Last year, I was really, really big into Infinite. I liked the way that they would retool things and combine molds to make a new mold and all of their innovation that they were doing over there. So I was throwing essentially all Infinite discs last year, minus maybe like my Zone OSs and stuff. But I currently bag probably about 99% Discmania. Other than
Okay.
my Infinite Disc Galleon and a Dark Rebel, I think it's all Discmania.
You're forehand dominant, right? So your discs are kind of overstable, right?
I would consider myself a little bit more of a both way, like a two-way player now. I definitely throw my fair share of backhands, and I've actually been, I don't want to say leaning on the backhand, but I've actually been really comfortable with it lately. So I
Yeah.
have I have my fair share of flippy and overstable.
Yeah. I feel like we're kind of in the same boat where this backhand is newer. to our game, but now we're also comfortable with it where we can lean on it when we need to.
Yep, yeah, it's kind of unlocking that, like I was saying, it's kind of stepping up into that next tier, unlocking that potential coming forward. So that's it's definitely something that's been a new aspect of the game, or a bigger aspect of my game this year than in recent past.
Yeah. So, have you ever thrown like the sake bomb felon by any chance? Did you ever try flexing it on a forehand?
Yeah, not a sake bomb felon, but I believe I have a Gavin Rathbun Tour Series felon.
Okay.
Uh, when I saw him at Eagle Ridge, I got one from him and threw that a couple of times. And yeah, that's similar flight to like my Fireball. My currently I throw an FD3, but like that slot, that's my that flex for that over the top forehand, get some ante on
Yeah.
her. Yeah.
So, Dynamic Disc is coming out with the brand new intent, and I'd highly suggest you give that a try because it's going to replace the sake bomb felon because obviously Ricky Wysocki is no longer part of DD. So the sake bomb line went with them. So they came out with the intent, which is going to replace the sake bomb felon. And the intent, in my opinion, is a more glidey S curve you'll get out of it. And it's such a game
Okay.
changer. Yeah.
I'll have to give that one a shot. I'm sure they'll have it at the shop over here.
Yeah.
The
July 16th is when they drop. So that it's definitely going to be a disc to definitely get your hands on.
Yeah, for sure. I'll have to grab one of those and maybe even try to give a little disc review on it.
Yeah. That'd be huge.
Yeah,
Um,
currently, like I said, that slot in my bag right now is my FD3. I have actually it's I have a Doombird 2 that I'm throwing around, which I know some people are probably like, why would you be throwing that? But I think plastic was made and molded to be thrown. So I also want to say thanks to Travis Snapple Brown for that FD3, that Doombird. It's definitely a big piece in my bag. Um, but Discmania, actually, the reason I got into it was because I apparently got hooked up big time. A big got I bought a few discs in, I think it was January, at like one of the first flexes of the year, and I bought a couple of discs off a guy that's Cardinal Disc Golf when we met up, and I got a Crowned Eagle MD3 from him, and he was like, "Hey, this one was already in my bag. It's been thrown. It's more of a straight to flippy flyer, and he's like, I could part ways with it for this much." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I didn't know the difference between that and a stock run at the time because I didn't really look into it. And after looking it up and telling my buddy about it, he's like, "Dude, you got a disc that you could probably buy on like eBay right now for 150 bucks. Like, it depends on how what shape it's in." So I got that. I started throwing that around. I loved the way it flew, and then I coincidentally found a DD that is super flippy. You know, the new molded DD, not the original DD. And after I called and asked the guy if he wanted it back, he said, "I don't even live in that state, so you can keep it." And that became my distance driver for a little bit as I learned my backhand, and now it's my roller disc. But that's kind of what unlocked the love for DD, or for Discmania. I mean, was just the MD3 and the DD and the way that they flew. And since
Yeah.
then, that I kind of like never looked back. I restructured my whole bag after it. I looked up everything that would be similar to my infinite discs that were in my bag, and kind of just bought the counterpart and seeing what I can put together.
That's really cool. So I heard you mention Cardinal Disc Golf. So what other sponsors do you have for this season? Want to give you an opportunity to give them all a shout out?
Yeah, so obviously, as you can see, Cardinal Disc Golf is one of my sponsors this year. I'm also rolling around with 13 chalk bags. Shout out
Yes.
to Tara and Lance for putting that together. Me and Dez are co-captains of that team. Definitely go hit up their site. They got some awesome products up there. They got waterproof or water resistant glow zip bags that carry your pouch, your chalk bag, and they got a glow release that just came out too. So for all you glow disc golfers, they have a glow in the dark chalk bag. so you'll never lose that guy on the tee pad. I've been there before. um, and then also I'm with Team Rare Air Discs. Definitely look them up if you're looking for some of those sweet gems that you can't really. They also have Colton Stash, which is super sick. I've gotten a few of them myself. And definitely go check them out too. They got some sick stamps too that they do. But that's those are my big three. I also have the local guys out here with Airmail Discs that I also represent too, the little online shop. Definitely go check them out as well. All codes should be nice pull DG, all caps, one word, other than Team 13 chalk bags. I believe that's 2 bit.
Cool. So as we're wrapping this up, got any questions for me?
Yeah, actually curious as to when you started your journey with all this with the podcast and the and like the interviews and stuff like that.
It was roughly about a year and 3 months ago. So it's been a little bit.
Nice. It's I mean, what well, okay, I have two follow-up questions for that, and then I think that's really all I got. But what would you say was your biggest moment, and who would you say was your biggest guest or favorite guest? I mean, if you had to pick.
Yeah. Um, my favorite guest would be like everybody because everybody's so unique and different. Everyone has like their own story, and that's what makes this so special is the fact that I get to meet like all these people, and then everyone gets to share their unique story and get it out there to everybody to listen to. And the biggest moment I would say would be just going after this, diving into it, just buying the soundboard and just diving into this, not knowing what I was actually doing, and just deciding, you know what, we're just gonna go for it. As nervous as I am doing this, we're just gonna do it. So that was the biggest moment for me with this show was just the whole just jump right into it and starting
Hey, that sometimes that's the best way to do it is just hit the ground running, right?
it. Yeah. So, so my final question for you tonight is what is your goals for this year and how can people follow you?
Goals for this year. My one of my big things was have a better mental game. I used to beat myself up a lot on the course mentally. After you make a mistake, you got to learn to shake it off. I've been doing pretty well with that so far. But other than that, it's I want to eclipse that 925 rating this year. That's my goal so far, and I'm getting pretty close to it. Uh, as far as where you can follow me and follow along with my journey to reach that 925, you can look me up on Instagram. It's Tuca underscore DG. That's TUCCA underscore DG. And follow me, I follow back.
Heck yeah. Cool. Thank you for hopping on tonight.